Hello students, today we are continuing with the chapter 12 Biotechnology and its application. In the previous video you were told that what is biotechnology, already that was revised from the previous chapter, and the fields of biotechnology where we are applying the techniques of biotechnology. And in the previous video I explained you about BT cotton. Now today here we we will understand about the pest resistant plants. So what is pest resistant plants? As you know about the BT cotton, in which the gene has been incorporated so that the cotton plant is not affected from the other organism. In the same way, over here we are developing a pest resistant plant, and this was usually done by incorporating the gene in the plant body. So what is done that in this process, this involved the production of pest resistant plant, or we call them as a nematode resistant plant, and this process is called as RNA interference. You can clearly see over here RNA interference, which is denoted by RNAi. Nematode specific genes, because these nematodes, they are affecting the plants. So what will happen? The nematode specific genes were introduced into the host plant, and the host plant is the tobacco plant. Using the vector is Agrobacterium. So by using the vector Agrobacterium, we incorporate nematode specific genes into the host plant. Now when this nematode specific genes were introduced, so what will happen? That means these genes, they are carrying the genetic material, they are carrying the DNA. So when this nematode specific genes, they are introduced, so these are introduced in such a manner, they are transferred into the host cell in such a manner that after introduction into the cell, they start producing both sense and antisense RNA in the host cell. So when sense and antisense RNA are produced in the host cell, because we know that these two strands of RNA, they both are complementary to each other. So what will happen? These two strands, they bind together and form double-stranded RNA. Look at the next point. These two RNAs are complementary to each other, so form dsRNA. ds here means double-stranded RNA is formed, and this double-stranded RNA, it initiates RNA interference because it does not allow the specific messenger RNA of nematode to act. Means when messenger RNA of nematode, it enters into the host cell, then this messenger RNA is not able to recognize because of the presence of double-stranded RNA, and thus the activity of messenger RNA of nematode was silenced. Therefore, we call it as RNA silencing. And when this messenger RNA is not able to express, is not able to read anything, is not able to present anything, then this leads to the death of the parasite in the transgenic host, and the transgenic plant is protected from the infection. Now just have a brief look over here. Process involved in the production of pest resistant plant or nematode resistant plant is RNA interference. Nematode specific genes were introduced into the host plant using Agrobacterium as vector. Introduction of DNA was done in such a manner that it produces both sense and antisense RNA in the host cells. These two RNAs are complementary to each other, so they form double-stranded RNA that initiate RNA interference, thus does not allow the specific messenger RNA of nematode to act, and this is called as RNA silencing. As a result, parasite could not survive in a transgenic host, and the transgenic plant that is tobacco, is protected from infection. Now here we are going to discuss about the applications of biotechnology in the field of medicine. So first is the production of insulin, or we call it as genetically engineered insulin. So what will happen, we know, everyone knows that insulin is used to lower the blood glucose level. That means diabetic patients, they use insulin. Okay, and this insulin hormone which is released from the pancreas, it consists of two chains of polypeptide, one A chain and the other one is the B chain. And these two chains, polypeptide, they used to join by disulfide bonding. But what will happen when this insulin is released? During that time, it is not active. It is called as the proinsulin, inactive insulin. So this proinsulin which is released from pancreas, it consists of three chains, A, B and C chain. And processing is done of this proinsulin, and during this processing, the third chain, or we call it as the C chain, is removed. Now we are left with chain A and B. So these two chains, they join together by disulfide bond and then becomes the active insulin, which is used to reduce the blood glucose level. Now you know, everyone knows that when we talk about the time period before independence or after independence, when this insulin was obtained from the animals, okay, because the animals were slaughtered at that time, because this diabetes disease was considered to be the treatment is provided only to the rich person, because they used to pay a large amount to the slaughters, those who slaughter the animals, and then insulin is extracted from their body. And it caused many side effects because of the difference in the organism, because it is obtained from the animal body and our body is not able to accept that thing. So what will happen due to this all complications? And one more thing is that the poor people, if suffer from this disease, if a poor person is there, he who is suffering from diabetes, he cannot pay the amount to the slaughterers so that he can get the insulin. So that's why it was very expensive. But when we had started with the biotechnology, when this biotechnology technique came into the studied by the human beings, then what will happen, its application is done, it was utilized in the field of medicine. So how it is done, that in biotechnology, American company named Eli Lilly, it first started the production of insulin in the laboratory, and this was done by incorporating genes of insulin specific genes into the plasmid of bacteria E. coli. When this gene was transferred, then the recombinant DNA was formed, recombinant genetic material was formed, and this start producing the insulin. Means the polypeptide chain A and B, specifically they are produced by that bacteria. Then these were extracted from the bacteria cell and were allowed to form the bonding, that is the disulfide bonding. And due to that, the functional insulin is prepared. Though it is extracted from the single cell, or we call it as microscopic cell, it can be produced in a large amount. And it is a boon to the people, those who are suffering from diabetes. And this is the great achievement of application of biotechnology in the field of medicines. So now just have a look over here. Genetically engineered insulin Insulin contain two short polypeptide chains, that is chain A and B, and these are linked by disulfide bonds. In mammals, insulin is synthesized as prohormone, which is processed at maturation, and this prohormone is also called as proinsulin because it is inactive in this condition, and later on it is to be processed on maturation. So this proinsulin, it contains C polypeptide chain. That means if I draw the diagram of insulin, it is in this way. Okay, this is A chain, this is B chain, and this is C chain. So what will happen? Disulfide bonding occurs between A and B, and C chain is removed. So now this becomes the active insulin and C chain is removed after processing. So this was first produced, means insulin was first artificially produced by the American company named Eli Lilly, in which the DNA plasmid, means the plasmid of E. coli. In the plasmid of E. coli, the insulin specific genes were incorporated so that these two polypeptide chains A and B, they were formed in the bacteria. Then these were isolated and are allowed to form bonding or the bridges, disulfide bridges, resulting in the formation of active insulin. So here we say that this is the application of biotechnology in medicine. Now next we study about the gene therapy. What is the role of biotechnology in gene therapy? So now here we are going to discuss about the gene therapy, that is the second application of biotechnology in the field of medicine. So gene therapy, as the name itself suggests, that there is replacement of gene. When any person is suffering from any genetic defect, so what is done, that the gene which is the defected gene, that is replaced by the normal gene, and this is usually done in the embryo or in the child. So just have a look over here with the definition, that it is the collection of methods that allow correction of gene. It allows the correction of gene defects diagnosed in child or embryo. That means the defected gene is replaced by the normal gene so that the defect can be corrected. Now next you can see that the defected gene is replaced by normal gene. In 1990, M. Blease and W. E. Andrescu, these two were belonging to or working in the National Institute of Health. They attempted gene therapy for the first time in a girl of 4 years who was suffering from a deficiency of ADA enzyme, that is adenosine deaminase enzyme. So what is done, that this ADA is caused due to the deletion of the gene. That means when meiosis occurs, okay, in the meiosis stage, when the chromosome numbers are increasing, during that time crossing over occurs, deletion, duplication, addition, these different types of process occurs too. So during that time, this gene, adenosine deaminase gene or ADA gene, was deleted. So this process is done for that only, that this gene has been deleted. So there is insertion of a normal gene. So it can be cured by bone marrow transplantation. That means after birth it can be done by transplantation of a bone marrow, or enzyme replacement therapy can be done so that this defect can be corrected. Now how it is done, we'll discuss over here in a flowchart manner. Now students, just have a look over here at the flowchart of gene therapy for ADA deficiency. So what is there? Patient's blood is taken and from this blood lymphocyte cells are isolated. Then These lymphocyte cells, they are grown in the culture medium in the laboratory, and in these lymphocytes, ADA, that means the functional ADA-cDNA, complementary DNA, it is transferred into the lymphocytes by using the retroviral vectors. That means retrovirus is taken as a vector to transfer this functional ADA-cDNA into the lymphocytes. As in then these lymphocyte cells, they were transferred into the patient's body or in the patient's blood. So what is there that lymphocytes are transferred? Now this has been done. That means this gene therapy has been done. Normal functional gene is incorporated. But here I mentioned that this is the temporary cure. The reason behind is that lymphocyte cells, they are immortal. That means what will happen? These lymphocyte cells, after some time, they die, and again the patients suffer from the same disease. So what will happen, that this replacement in the lymphocytes is a gene therapy for ADA. When it is done in lymphocytes, then it is to be done at frequent intervals, means repeatedly it is to be done. Because lymphocyte cells die after certain time, because every cell has a particular lifespan. So after completing its lifespan, lymphocyte cells will die, and along with them that gene will also be removed from the patient's body. So now for what is done for a permanent cure? Permanent cure is usually done during the embryonic stage. So what is done, that the genes responsible for ADA, they are isolated from the bone marrow and they are introduced into the early embryonic stage, so that there will be a permanent cure from the disease. So this is about the gene therapy.